we're at 10 o'clock, and it is my pleasure to turn it over to Jessica Lavender of Energy Action Fairfax for our first partner session today. Jessica, I will stop sharing my screen and I will let you do any sharing that you need to.
Okay, great. Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for having me. My name is Jessica Lavender. I am the Senior Energy Analyst for Fairfax County's Office of Environmental and Energy Coordination. I'm gonna give you a quick little tour of what we do just by showing you our website. Let's see. Can you see my screen? Thumbs up?
Yes.
All right, great. So this is our page. We do a lot of different things. We do climate planning for the county, resiliency planning. We work on internal operations, policies, employee outreach, and outreach to the public, both residents and businesses. And what we're talking about today is our thermal camera loan program, which is a program for mostly residents. Could be a business, but mostly residents. So on our home energy savings page, we go to Energy Action Fairfax, which is our residential outreach program. We have a lot of information about how to save energy at home. And then we also have some special initiatives on this page. And I'll put all these links in the chat before we go. So I want to talk to you first about how thermal cameras work, and then I'll talk about the program. Let me scroll down. So thermal cameras show hot and cold areas with color. Yellow is the hottest and purple is the coldest. And a home energy auditor, or you, can use that to go through your house and see areas that are hot and cold. And by doing that, you'll know where cold or hot air is coming in your house, or you might have some insulation gaps or something like that. So now I'm actually gonna stop sharing my screen so you can see me bigger, and I'm gonna show the camera. And if I'm not big for you, I think you might be able to pin me or something, just so you can see a little bit better. But this is the camera. You can buy one for a couple $100, and it just attaches to the bottom of either an Apple phone, an Android phone, or an iPad. So I'm gonna turn on my iPad. And this is the app right here. It's called FLIR One. That's the company that makes it. You open it up. Oops. They'll tell you to plug it in. Just goes right in the bottom where you would charge. Turn it on. So this is what I look like. I got my iPad or my phone, and then the camera is facing out so that I can see on the screen what's going on. So you can see on my screen, let me move my down a little bit. So you can see on my screen, hopefully, a window in the background. And you can also estimate the temperature of what you're looking at. That's the numbers in the middle. So let me show you a few pictures that I already took. Hopefully those will be easy for you to see. So this is just an example of something that's hot. A person in a room is much hotter than the rest of the room. And a nice feature is that you can scroll down to see what you actually took a picture of. Another nice picture is 2 drinks. So I'm not sure how many attendees right now are students. I don't know if it's going to be helpful for me to ask questions and have people type their answers into the chat or not. If you're interested in participating and answering questions, can you just type in the chat now, hey, ask me a question, and then I'll ask you questions. But otherwise, I'll just keep talking. So on the right, we have a yellow cup that would be filled with something like hot coffee or hot tea. And on the left, we have a purple cup that would be that's just filled with cold water. I don't know if you can see very well where I took the temperature of the hot cup. It might show up a little bit better. Took the temperature of the cold cup. Another cool thing is that when you touch an object, your heat transfers to that object. So this is just me leaving my hand on the wall for about 10 seconds. And it's just a wall. So it's just a wall. But it knows my hand was there because there's a warm spot there. Another cool thing is you can see when appliances are on, because when they're using electricity, they usually get a little warm. So this is actually a speaker. That's the big yellow thing. And then the little yellow thing is where it is plugged into the wall. So how would someone use this as like a home energy audit? Well, I went around my house. One place I found some purple coming in was underneath my door and through the window on the door. This was this morning. Fortunately, it was cold this morning. In order for the colors to really show well for you, you need at least a 20-degree temperature differential, preferably between the inside and the outside. So a couple days ago when it was like really nice out, 70 in the afternoon, that's not a good time to use the thermal camera for this. But this morning, it's cold, it's a good time to use it. Another place there's some air coming in is through my window. There's a little purple coming in through the bottom. And these are air leaks, also known as infiltration. That's one way to lose heating or cooling through your house. Another way is through insulation gaps. So this is a room. The top half is a ceiling and the bottom half is the wall. And all those little purple splashes are where I don't have very good insulation because it's been moved around. It's an old house. You want to see just a nice uniform area. Let's see. Yes, I'll put a bunch of links in at the end for where you can get the camera. So nobody said they wanted me to ask some questions, which is fine, but feel free to type in if you want to see me take a picture of anything else. How does it look in the thermal camera? I wish I could just take me with you. I can't. Is this a Flare 1 Flare Out or the Gen 3 or Gen 1? Good question. Someone's asking what exact camera version is this? It is not the Pro. The Pro is more expensive. I forget. I have it on the website. I can figure that out for you when we go to the website. So hold tight on which generation. I have two. We bought 2 different generations. We bought these a couple years ago. All right, now it's really cold from normal temps. As long as there's a 20-degree temperature differential. So if normal temperature is 70 and cold is 50 or lower, then yeah, it could differentiate well between the two. All right, now we're going to do a couple of questions. So what do you think is the typical annual home energy bill in the United States? Obviously, you cannot answer my question, but just think about it. Could be, is it $100, $1,000, $10,000? I'm going to share my screen again. Okay, while you're thinking about that, I'm going to show you all the different places that air can leak into your house. So it's not just under a door or under a window. There's a bunch of different places. Any penetration to the outside, so maybe a cable is coming in, or sometimes there can be a little bit of a crack between your house and the roof or your house and the foundation. There's a lot of different places. Okay, typical bill per year is about $2,000. That's electricity and natural gas if you have natural gas for heating, or just electricity if you only have electricity for heating. And what percent of that do you think is spent on heating and cooling? Some other uses are appliances, your hot water heater, lighting, other kinds of electronics. All right, well, this is a graph from the Department of Energy. So on average in the United States, heating is 29%, cooling is 13%. We've got water heating in gray, appliances in red, lighting in blue, electronics in green. And this electronics piece of the pie has gotten much bigger in the last 10 or 20 years as we have more and more electronics in the house. And what percent of this chunk, of the heating and cooling chunk, do you think you could save by sealing up all of the air leaks or insulation gaps in your house? I'm going to move us over to an Energy Star website. So Energy Star estimates this based on your climate. That makes sense. How hot or cold are you? So we're climate zone 4. And if you scroll down, it's estimating that we could save in Virginia 17% on heating and cooling, or 12% of our total bill. So that's pretty good. That could add up for you if it's $2,000 every year, 12% of that. All right, now I'm going to show you some examples of projects that you could do. And feel free to keep typing questions in the chat. And I will get to them for sure at the end. All right, so this first one is a door sweep. So this is one of my doors. There used to be a lot of purple coming through on the bottom. You attach something on the bottom of it, and now there's a lot less purple coming through, which is good. Similar thing for your window. There's a lot of different kind of weather stripping options, so you kind of have to play around with it. But in the first picture on the left, you can see there's a lot of purple, and then the picture on the right, there's less purple, and this is what I use for that. This is another one. It's really easy to do. So your wall is hopefully insulated, but your outlets usually are not, because that's where your electricity is coming in. So you can get these little gasket covers. You just put it right under the plate and it seals it up a little bit. So this one is a lot less purple than this one. And again, these are pictures when it's cold outside. If it was 100 degrees outside, then the house would be cooler, purple, and the air coming in would be yellow. Okay, so normally we think of using a thermal camera to identify air leaks and insulation gaps, but there's another thing you can use it for, which is how we saw that speaker was pulling electricity. So this little yellow glowing light here is my Apple TV, but I wasn't watching TV. This is called vampire load or phantom load. And one way to combat that is to just run around unplugging things after you use them. That could be kind of a pain. They also make this thing called a smart strip that will turn things off for you automatically. It could be based on a timer or an occupancy sensor. This one is conditional and based on other equipment that's plugged in. So my TV is kind of the control. And if my TV is not on, then the Apple TV will not turn on. So this is a good option for like entertainment centers or offices where like if your TV isn't on or your computer isn't on, it'll cut the power to all of the other stuff connected to the smart strip. Some bigger projects you could do, you can seal up a fireplace. There's understandably a lot of air coming in through there. They make this thing called a chimney balloon. You can put that in, in the summer, you're not using it. You can also get an cover for your attic door if you have an attic, because usually, your attic is insulated, but then the door is not. Or filling in your insulation gaps. That's a bigger project. If you don't want to do that yourself, you can hire someone to do it for you. All right, now I'm going to show the library website. This is their catalog, and I'll type these links in just a second. You just search for thermal camera, and it comes up just like a book. You need to choose Apple or Android because they are different. And then you just place a hold, and it will get shipped to your local library branch, and you pick it up behind the counter. So it's pretty easy. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. I'm gonna check the chat, and then I'm gonna type in the links. All right. Oops. Oh, good. I did get some answers. Let me just do, hold on a second. Okay. Yes, $2,500 was a good guess. All right. Let me get some links for you. This is our program page. And I'm also going to give you the library catalog. So those are in the chat. I'm also, if anyone wants to reach out and has a question, I'm happy to give out my email address. Let me see if I can find the generation that we have. Okay, we have Gen 2 and Gen 3, and this is a Gen 2. So that answers someone's question. All right, well, while you guys think of more questions, I'm going to show you a couple other things. So this is the case that you get, that you pick up from the library. The camera is inside of it in some foam, and then you get some instructions on how to use the camera and a few project examples like we're on the website. There are also a lot of instructions and videos in the FLIR app itself. And I have a couple of the things that I showed you. So this is an example of a door weather strip. Sometimes it also just comes completely long, not curled up. And you can buy that at like Lowe's or Home Depot, wherever. This is another one that you could put this one like under a window. And like I said, sometimes you just kind of have to buy a few things and test it out. It's all very inexpensive. These are the socket sealers. Pull one out. So they make them for plugs or a wall switch. This is the smart strip I was talking about. And what energy efficiency presentation would be complete without a plug for LEDs? If you have an LED and an incandescent next to each other and you use the thermal camera, you would notice that the incandescent is a lot warmer. It's wasting a ton of electricity just as heat that it's losing. So this is a 9-watt LED. It's equivalent to a 60-watt incandescent. These are also very inexpensive now. You can get them for a couple dollars. So I recommend checking out the thermal camera, checking out our website, taking a trip to the hardware store. And if you're interested in learning more about what my office does, we have a newsletter that we send out. You can sign up for that on our website. Usually about every few months, we'll say, hey, we've got this program going on. We're looking for public input on our climate planning process. Before COVID, we usually had a bunch of in-person events in the spring. We had like LED light bulb exchanges. Hopefully we'll do those again or figure out a new way to do outreach. Any last questions on thermal cameras or my office or energy efficiency in general? Okay, well, I'm a little early. I don't know if Kurt, did you want to run the video?
You are fine, Jessica.
Okay.
And thank you so much.
Yeah.
That was really, really cool.
Oh, good.
And as we had discussed earlier in the week, I am an enthusiast of thermal cameras. I haven't used one in a while, and the ones I used when I got a thermal camera training was a big one, and that was some years ago.
Yeah.
So it's really neat to see the small ones now. That's really cool.
Yeah, and it's free, and I mean, the county arranged this for home energy audits, but they're fun for other things. My director always likes to say he wants to look for wildlife in his yard at night. There's a lot of uses for them.
That's great. Well, thank you, Jessica.